Here we are, another episode of the jankityasspodcast, number 47. Coming at you again, hopefully with no problems. This time, like I was just saying, I should be fine this time. I haven't had any net problems all day, so. But
where's the George Lucas, Steven Spielberg? It's gonna be great.
Yeah, great. I'm sure we just jinxed it, but we'll see. And of course, real quick, if you haven't done so already, go down to the corner of the video here, like and subscribe, Multi-Murdy Media. You'll get this playlist, of course, the Jankity Ass Podcast. You'll also get the Gutsy Ass Gamer, which is video games and Twitch, and Poncho's Paint Booth, which is all hobbies and painting and stuff like that, like I have displayed here. Some of my wonderful little shelf or whatever.
I was gonna say, what are those, by the way?
Let's see, I got 3 fiends, and then the mask.
Ooh, nice.
Up here, finally, and I've had this one sitting on my desk for like at least a year before this.
Yeah, I finally finished painting my Indominus stuff from the Indominus box. If that's any sign of how long it took me to paint that.
Oh, I got a while still. Or a ways to go still. But yeah, so I've got a couple more videos scheduled on both of those lists, and then gonna take a break because this month is I gotta try and make more cash this time around, so short hiatus. Cause and actually that's one of the topics I got. But let's see. What are you drinking tonight this time around?
I am drinking Ye Old Club Soda because I am trying to cut back on things that add to my body weight. AKA, I know, right? Normally I would try and save one for tonight, but I didn't pick up any in time, so just chilling with LaCroix, the key lime flavor, which I highly recommend. It's very tasty.
Aren't they all basically the same though?
Actually, no, there is a difference. Like there's a coconut one.
There's bad,
garbage.
And then there's worse.
See, I actually like this stuff. That's part of it. Like I actually like club soda, but there are some really shitty ones. Like I think they have a strawberry one or something. I don't like, but their coconut one they have is just like bleh. Just don't even get it.
It's the club without the club.
Yeah,
it's a party
right.
In your mouth.
Except it ain't.
Not the good kind. Yeah. Well, fortunately, I have us covered. I got another entry from WeldWerksbrewing. This is the Breakfast in Bed.
Ooh. Sour wheat
ale. It's only, where was it? I just saw this earlier. Where the fuck's the 4.6%. So it's not too bad. But apparently this is brewed with strawberry, maple syrup, cinnamon, milk sugar, and vanilla.
Ooh.
So let's see what that means for me.
I mean, I don't normally have those things when I have breakfast in bed because I also don't have breakfast in bed anymore or ever. Have
okay,
I?
That's
okay.
not bad.
Is it?
It's like a sour ale, but then it has like just a little bit of a little bit of that pancake flavor.
Ooh.
To it.
What's the brewery again?
WeldWerksbrewing. That's WELD Works.
VUD.
WELD WERKS.
Ah, gotcha. They are in LA, I think.
Let me see if I can. Close, Colorado.
Yeah, just a couple cities off. No big deal.
Greeley, Colorado.
No, the street.
I don't think that's a city.
Yeah, it's
probably more of a town.
That's a townin. Huh. Well, there you go. I never claimed geography was one of my strong suits, unless it's specific landmarks or state capitals. That's it.
You know what's funny is that whenever my geography class in high school, well, so my freshman year of high school is when I took geography, and also happened to be 2011. So my geography
Okay.
class had, or not 2011, fuck, 2001.
I was about to be like,
Yeah.
but
I skipped a lot.
Samson.
But no, so yeah, my geography class had nothing to do about geography. It, it literally just ended up being a 3-month course about the Middle East.
Yeah.
And
Damn.
like random stories from my teacher about when he was a young one in my hometown. Like he told us about
It's
how he
crazy.
got his gold tooth after having a few brawls downtown. Stuff like that.
It's crazy to think that there are people in their 20s, like literally 20, who have like zero memory of that event ever occurring. Like I still remember to this day, like we were living in Massachusetts at the time, when like we had this old rickety 2-story house, and I remember waking up for breakfast like I normally do, and I remember the TV was on. Like we never had the TV on in the mornings, like ever. And like my mom and dad were like kind of like near the TV. It was up really loud, and I was like wondering what the hell happened. And I go upstairs to my parents' room where the TV was, and like there's the smoking tower, and it was just crazy just watching it. And then I watched live as the second one hit. Like and like I'm like 7. How old was I? I was older than that. I was 11, and I was like watching this, and I was like, what the shit is happening? Like I was like really weirded out, and like
What is that,
like
Disney or something?
Jesus Christ, not that bad. I'm not that stupid. But also could like it was like we had a lot of family in New York, so it was really like my uncle was actually supposed to be in one of those towers the day of, but he ended up taking an extra vacation day.
How
So it
many
was
times
like
is he? How many times did he tell that story?
he doesn't like telling that story.
You know, I was almost there.
Yeah. I don't have any survival skills at all. No, that was really hard. I remember that was really hard for him because he knew all those people. Like
True.
it was crazy. It was all the things all that stuff had happened. But
Yeah,
just decided to start on a downer note.
well, yeah, because whenever that happened, I had absolutely nothing to do with New York at all, or even the East Coast, or the West Coast at all. I mean, I just had my town and my family and some family in Mexico. So,
Yeah.
I remember literally like we were watching the TV and class was like, oh, that really sucks for them. I mean that's pretty much.
It just like doesn't
Yeah,
register. It doesn't
I
connect,
didn't I didn't even know what the World Trade Center was before that.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because like, especially when your kids like seems like so far removed on the news, like you don't get the depth of it yet. And that's the thing. Like, I knew it was like weird or scary, but I didn't really get the depth of it until later. Like, yeah, shit's bonkers, yo. Where's the Sinbad? This is a sick world we're living in with sick people. Love
Yeah,
that movie.
I think that was literally like my first week of class, or first or second.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it would have been something like that.
so literally like the beginning of my class was that and headphones getting banned because one of our couple kids were listening to their shit too loud and not paying attention. That was my beginning of my freshman year of high school, or well, beginning of high school in general. So
Yeah.
good times. Kind of. And I was lucky enough, since I was in a small town, there was really only one high school, so they got all the money. Pretty much.
Yeah, so just depending on where you were.
Yeah, so it wasn't like here, where the public schools are mostly just trash. What?
Yeah, were you born in the right district? Nope, sucks for you.
Yeah, right. And well, there was a small private Catholic school, but I mean, obviously that's no taxpayer money there.
Yeah, you got to shell out for that crap.
Well, I think they also get like a little bit of money from their church donations or whatever.
Yeah, because usually those are like associated with like parish schools or something. Like, so usually that kind of helps funnel it in. I'm sorry, I've been on the the Weldworks website since we started talking about it. Got some cool
beer
stuff.
Porn for you.
Just a little bit, You know, gotta stay frosty.
There you go. But no, all I ever heard about that school was just a lot of nuns with yardsticks. Just a lot of pay attention.
So true.
But yeah, I'm not allowed to run ads on Facebook for some reason, which is
really
stupid. Because I tried doing it again whenever I finally got my website up, and it would just say boost unavailable, and in the ad thing, it'll say like, oh, you are restricted from running ads, but my page is in good standing. And when I go to the learn more thing, it just takes me to like this page is broken link. So there's nothing there.
It's weird because that always strikes me as weird where it's like, I mean, in certain cases I get it, but in this case, like Facebook, with all the crap they do, like how could they not want to take your money?
Well, I mean,
I don't get it.
Yeah, well, you also have to figure that they're managing like billions of people.
Billions.
Yeah, so it's all automatic, and also too, I'm still allowed to do ads on Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. But like, I almost always still get like a reject at first, and then I'll review. Like I did one for the last episode, right? Finally, so it gets rejected right away, and I submit for a review. It ran for like half the length and money that I put in, and then got rejected again for some reason. And well, I'm trying to pull up.
Is it because we're just that just janky of a podcast where they're just like, we can't take this. Your money's no good here.
Okay, so here's what it said with my last one. It says this promotion doesn't comply with our personal attributes policy. This promotion can't ask a question or make an assumption about a user's personal attributes. And then whenever I look at the examples, it's all like, so like good is, ad creative that describes or shows promoted product or service. Bad, text referring or alluding to personal attributes or characteristics of the targeted group, or using the word other to reference a personal characteristic. None, and then it just goes into a bunch of examples of like basically all dating stuff. None of which applies to me at all, or what I put down. The only thing I know, there were some ads before where since like with the articles and stuff like that, like some of them were political, so I'd put in like a hashtag to that kind of references that subject.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that makes sense. So, but I've gotten I don't put those in there anymore for that reason. Mm-hmm. And now I still get this.
We should just do hashtag surprise politics. So that way you don't know what it's about, but surprise.
I think, although I think I did actually figure it out a little bit ago, because whenever at the bottom of, because I literally just take the show description that I put on like YouTube and the podcast, and then that's just that's just the text for the ad. Mm-hmm. And in the promotional section that I have, since I do the thing where like if somebody starts or pays for their own podcast using my code, I get a little bit of cash. But the line that I had was, start your own podcast. So your apparently must have something to do with like, oh, that's implying viewer or follower or audience or whatever. So I think that might be the thing, which is also stupid because I mean, like, how many times do people use the word your? And it's the right version of your too. So
that could be it. I mean, you try like changing it to be like start a podcast today, not anyone's possessively. See if that all of a sudden makes things magically better.
I changed that in my whatchamacallit, my type that I copy over. So we'll find out this time.
All right, yeah, I'm excited to see if they're that good at picking that crap up, like,
or just that bad at their algorithms.
That too.
We have to cancel everything. But that's kind of what they're doing now. But and then as far as the Facebook thing, I did find like a thing where, or they do have a link where I can like message their team through the chat, but I literally just found that before we started up this, so you know I'm not gonna wait for one of their ad teams to get back to me while we're in the middle of recording a podcast. So I'll do that later, and I'm sure it's just like a stupid mistake or what have you.
Yeah, probably.
And also, my bank did that thing where they decide to send you a new debit card a couple years ahead of schedule because of some potential charges, and you got to switch now.
Oh, God. So, that's always fun. Like, potential what?
Yeah.
Potential what now?
But well, I did that already. That's more of just a personal inconvenience.
Oh man, I'm going through some bank czars right now because like, so I had this banking app. My wife and I discovered it like, something like a year ago maybe. No, not that. Yeah, no, almost no, like July 2020. And what I love about this app was called Simple. And it was called Simple Banking. It was like one of those things where the app itself relied on like an actual bank existing, but the app was the interface that worked with the bank. So it was like a kind of like a symbiotic relationship. And the way it works is you programmed into the app what expenses you had and how much you spent monthly on those expenses. Or you could do goals like I want to save X amount of money to spend on something or just to have it in savings. And you could set those goals. And then you would tell the frequency, like, okay, I want to fund it every time I get paid, or I want to fund it at the end of the month, or this or that. So you create all these schedules. It's a little weird at first. And then when you start getting your paydays in, so like our second payday, what it'll do is it'll take that your raw paycheck. So like, let's say it's like $2,000 is your total paycheck. And you've got 1,000 for rent, like, and then about 500 crap for other random things. It'll take that 1,000, 500 and divvy it all up where it's supposed to go in your categories. And then it'll tell you, oh, hey, you've got $500 that is safe to spend. You can spend on whatever the hell you want because you're not telling me that it's supposed to go somewhere. And I gotta tell you, man, like once we started using this thing, budgeting became so much easier. It was like a walk in the park. We knew exactly how much money we had. We would sometimes keep funding expenses so we had more than enough. Like if we were like, oh, well, we didn't end up spending this much on groceries this month, let's keep that money there. So next time when it funds in, we kind of pocket that 100 back. We just keep building on it. And it was this awesome thing. Like we got into a groove, man. And like we're still using it right now. But last month, we get an email basically saying, oh, hey, so, and Simple's been around, I think, for like 3 or 4 years. Like I think at least since 2016. And we get this email say, hey, so Simple's shutting down. We're really sorry. It's been great having everybody. And we'll let you know what goes on. You can keep using Simple right now. But eventually you're just going to have the bank account with the bank that, you're in right now. So sorry. Thanks. Bye. And I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be another app out there. There's got to be something else out there that comes close to that's like a good, competitor for this. Nothing comes close to how good this thing did it. Or if there's an app out there, some of it do like one thing or another thing, but they don't do the whole shebang. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind that Simple was around for this long and nobody did what this thing does so well. It just, I'm so pissed off because now it's like we want to keep the method of how we were doing it, but now it's going to be really manual. I'm going to have to be really careful, and I'm just like, damn it, I don't want to. Like, I have to like spend like 30 minutes a day now, like budgeting and checking receipts, everything when I, or like a couple hours at the end of the week when it just did it for me on the app. It was so helpful. Ugh.
I wonder if they probably just weren't making any money. Maybe. So I don't know.
I
if they
think it
were
was that they may not have hit a download threshold, so the bank supporting them said we're not going to keep you around because you're not getting enough downloads.
maybe.
It's like it could be that like maybe they needed X amount of people to have the app and use the app in order for the app to keep running, or maybe there was some like statutory thing that came out or regulation where the relationship between the app and the bank no longer was tenable or would become too costly for one party or the other. All I know is whatever the reason is, it's bullshit and it's not true. I didn't hit her. I didn't. Hi, Mark. No,
Probably
it was
what
just,
it was.
yeah. No, that's my first world problem right now. It's just dude, seriously, it made organization so much easier. I'm gonna miss it so much. I do not recommend you get Simple, by the way, because they're not even letting new people join or download or opt in. Just just look for, if you want something like it, just Google simple bank replacement if you're trying to find something even close to that. So far I haven't seen anything. I'm hoping something gets developed soon because it was just so good.
And of course, that doesn't solve the real bank problem. Is that there's not enough money in either of our accounts.
That is the
At all.
actual big problem.
At
Because
all.
if you think about it, my need to break apart my expenses and track everything is because that's the scope of the funds with which I am working and the scope of the debt and expenses that I'm working with. So Carson, of course, puts the nail on the head. We ain't rich enough.
Hey, you just go to your bank and say, well, this isn't really my fault. If you would have just put more money in there for me.
Yeah. Baby is baby.
Kind of like those old, those old fucking bullshit reality shows, where the guy will be like, "Well, this is just your fault for getting mad. So what if I cheated on you or whatever?"
Oh, and it's like
all right, yeah.
totally like no. Yeah, no true human that has a conscience and is not a sociopath would ever say those things. Like, unless they're on scripted live television and they don't mind being paid a couple $1 million for people to hate them on the internet for like a year or two.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Yeah. Of course, that was before the internet was the internet. So
well,
I'm sure.
Even now, right? Like with reality shows, right? I mean, that's gotta still be a thing. Like, you get these characters who are like these total assholes. I mean, my wife watches The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Like, there are some batshit crazy people, and I guarantee you, of the crazy asshole whack jobs that show up in shows like that, 1 out of 5 maybe just legitimately is that way. And then the other 4 are kind of like that, and the directors or producers say like, look, we're gonna pay you really well. You're gonna lean on that, just build on that because that's gonna add some tension to this season, and everyone on the internet's gonna hate you for about a year or two, and then no one's gonna give a shit anymore just because you're not gonna do anything heinous. You're just gonna be a jackass on a TV show.
What's funny
that's
is,
not a bad deal.
Whenever I was in college, at my student job, one of my this one girl who I was working with, she managed to get into like the third runner-up bracket for I think it was The Real World.
Oh no shit! Like
TV,
getting onto the show.
Yeah, which means she didn't obviously get on the show at all. Right. I told her, because you're not batshit crazy enough. Obviously.
I know, right?
And they I know some of the earlier seasons they would also they would take like aspiring comedians too back in the day.
Yeah, I feel like there are a number of people who talk about one of their first gigs being The Real World or something similar to it. I'm pretty sure Bert Kreischer is one of them. I want to say he's on it at one point.
He has his own stuff.
Or no, he was on something. He was on something else that
he well, yes, he was on He was on a couple shows with the Travel Channel. Bert the
No, I'm not
Conqueror,
even.
and then there was Hurt Bert.
I remember
Yeah.
Herbert. No, I was thinking. No, he was. It was something he said on like a podcast or something where it was like it was one of his earlier gigs. It was like on Comedy Central and it was a reality show, and he did it, and he went a
I know
little
what you're
too
talking
balls to the
about.
wall.
Yeah.
The first season, but that show ended up getting canceled anyway, like a season later. And yeah, I remember that. That's what I was saying. And then, but then there was somebody else I think who was in fact on the Real World, and I can't remember who it was.
I know Theo Vaughn and Christina Pajitsky were both on different seasons of the Real World.
I think I remember that about her.
And I'm sure there were some other ones. And then I know Guy Code and Girl Code also had a lot of people who ended up being, decent name comedians too. Nowadays. Like, I know Charlemagne was on Guy Code back in the day.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he's a big thing now. More or less.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was gonna say something else, but I completely forgot.
Yeah.
Happens. What I do have is we got a couple more entries for the cdhaul, some more metal stuff.
Ooh, I'm down.
First one I got up here. Got this guy, Powertrip.
By Nightmare Logic.
Other way around.
Nightmare Logic by Powertrip.
Yep. So these guys are straight thrash, newer thrash.
Oh, really?
And more recently news is they're so I hadn't really gotten into them before, but I added them to my list after their lead singer actually passed away recently.
Oh.
Unfortunately, so yeah, late to the train or late to the boat.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't remember exactly what it was. I want to say it was like leukemia or something like that.
Oh, wow, that sucks.
That one screws up a lot of singers, actually, from what I understand. I know. Well, we were talking about Behemoth last time. Their main guy, he had a leukemia scare a while back. Like,
damn.
Like this is probably the end scare, but he managed to pull out of it. And kind of
good around. I didn't even know that.
Took a break for like 2 or 3 years. This was this was before Evangelion came out, that album, which was a while ago. But yeah, I think these guys only ever got like a couple albums out.
Yeah, I'm actually listening to Soul Sacrifice right now. Because I realized that I actually like listening to some of the stuff that you just, as you mentioned it and sample it.
Goddamn right.
Total classic, awesome thrash here. It looks like they have only 3. They have Manifest Decimation, Nightmare Logic, and Opening Fire. Although Opening Fire looks like it's a compilation, because it says Opening Fire 2008-2014, and then they have a live album in Seattle.
Yeah, I've never been into live albums at all.
I really am not a big fan of live albums either. There are so very few that I'm a fan of. One of which being, rest in peace, Daft Punk's Alive 2007. That's probably the only live album I actually would recommend to anybody. But mostly because that set is just great. And I think you find that more with You probably find that more with like electronica or house or techno or anything along those veins, because the sound quality is generally captured through it's all through computers anyway, so they can capture that live mix and they can keep the background ambience and they can mix it really well. But if you're doing like a lot of live instruments, a lot of live musicians, like that sound quality sometimes doesn't carry over very well to recording. So it's like for a lot of rock concerts and for a lot of probably metal really is probably one of the biggest victims of this. It's just not going to sound good, because metal, hell, it barely sounds good when you're there. I mean, just depends. But No, I'm just kidding about that. It sounds amazing when you're there, and that's the point. Like you have to be in person really to experience it.
Yeah, in a live album, you're not there.
Yeah, exactly. So
At
it
all.
just sounds wonky. Like Sabaton is probably one of the cleanest sounding bands you could ever listen to, and I hate their live albums. It just sounds annoying.
Yeah, plus it's all on all that stuff's on their normal albums too.
Exactly.
For the
right?
most part, which is it would make more sense for like electronica or EDM or anything like that, especially if it's like a thing where they're mixing on the fly or whatever.
Yeah.
Then duh. But no, I remember. Yeah, I was really pissed once because I accidentally ordered a whatchamacallit, a live album from Lamb of God back when I was in high school.
Oh, really?
Their Philadelphia album, because I thought it was like a new album.
Oh.
Right, and I got it. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I already have all these songs. God damn it. But
hey, lesson learned.
I got it. I think that there may have been one. No, there was nothing new on that album at all. It was just a pure live album. It's bullshit.
What's second up?
Second up, you're gonna like this one. Moonspell, a new one.
Yeah. Ooh, is it a new album?
New. I
did
got
not know
this like
this.
4 days ago. Hermitage.
Hermitage.
Hermitage, yes.
See, I only just recently switched to Spotify, so Spotify doesn't tell me all of these bands that I like. You're damn right I'm listening to this.
So this one's interesting because it's not extreme at all. It's like purely kind of like a gothy melodic type of deal. Like it's still heavy. The only song that even does any growling is like the end of the first song. It's a very slow build up too.
Yeah.
So it's good. My only kind of complaint is that it does get like a little bit of like a political preachy type of thing.
Oh, does it?
You know what I mean? Like whenever you're listening to a good song and then you hear them say like government or nation at some point, you're just like, oh fuck.
What is it? I had literally had that. I literally had that reaction with one of the Lamb of God albums I was listening to recently. Like I'm pretty sure it was, their 2020 album. Like I was like listening to it and I was rocking out to it. But I think it was New Colossal Hate or Checkmate, and it was like, oh man, this song is so good. Like, why are you? God, like, we get it. You hate America and the current government. Like, who doesn't? This is all bullshit. But like, come on, man. Like, you don't need to make a statement. Metal is the statement. You know, like it already is that. You don't need to do that. This is cool. I'm gonna have to listen to this. I did not know that they released a new album.
They didn't really advertise it that much. I didn't even because I use iTunes for everything, and it was like at the bottom of the pre-release or the pre-order list or something like that for a while, and then so they didn't really well that, and I also follow them on Facebook too, so that's how I kind of found out about it.
I think they even released a bonus track edition of Memorial, but I don't even remember there being a Memorial album. So it looks like they did something in 2022.
Oh,
At least it was released.
Memorial's one of their old albums.
That's what I was thinking. I just can't find it on here. Maybe Spotify's not showing me their old albums. If it has a replace, it's not showing me the old one.
I don't know. I only use Spotify for Joe Rogan, so.
Fucking elitist.
I mean, dude, I got enough apps as it is. Like I started watching like some podcasts on YouTube, sort of begrudgingly, but also ultimately. And then it's like, oh well, now you also got like Spotify, and then some of the good stuff's on Patreon, and like I can't. And there's like another show that I kind of want to listen to, but it's only on Luminary, and like I drew the line there.
Yeah,
I got enough
that
apps.
Yeah,
it's like I could also just blow my brains out too. That'd be easier.
It's like the Family Guy line where he's just like okay. Just like Uh, oh man. All right. Well, shit. I gotta listen to this album. All right. What else? What do we got?
So yeah, like I was saying, money problems because one of my I got a couple rooms that I gotta fill here this month. I was supposed to have we were supposed to have somebody move in today, actually, because well, I mean, obviously as you can imagine, it's kind of hard to find new
Decent roommates.
yeah, right. 'Cause I know one
Yeah.
one of my roommates kind of like took over that for a while, and he said it's all like just like weirdos and college kids mostly.
Yeah.
You can't trust. It's like, yeah, I've had. He told me, it's like, yeah, I've had somebody calling me like, hey man, how come you haven't like, made me an offer yet? It's like, 'cause you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Lose my number already. But no,
Yeah,
we had
seriously.
a girl. So we had a girl that was gonna move in today, but then earlier, yeah, last Friday, I found her actual social media profile.
Okay.
Dude, like full on MAGA QAnon influencer, the whole 9 yards.
Whoa.
Yeah, like she spent the whole weekend at Dodger Stadium, waving the flag, like
Like, she
all
has
that
anything
shit.
better to do with her time? Like, seriously?
Well, her I guess not.
Damn. I mean, I know according to QAnon, like they all think Trump's gonna get reelected in sometime in March. All the
Well,
military trap.
technically, like she works on like productions and stuff like that, which is kind of on the back burner nowadays.
Mm,
Hopefully, not for much longer.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like as far as roommates go, like I've got at least a couple foreigners. I I don't, and of course, I mean, a lot of those people are a little too cavalier with other people's lives, especially public
Mm.
figures. A lot of you know a lot of posts involving Newsom and a rope. Don't need that around here.
Yeesh. I mean, don't get me wrong. I hate Newsom as much as the next guy, but I'm only gonna threaten to kill him in private chats. Thank you very much.
Or not at all. Just go be a useless rich person.
Yeah.
Like you're good. Just go away.
Yeah. We'll get it in post. No. So wait. So because of all that stuff on her, like, so is that why she ended up not moving in?
No,
Because you guys were like
yeah, like we had and I
emergency
didn't
meeting.
that I didn't like cite that as a reason or anything like that, and I'm only really bringing it up because nobody's really listening to us right now. So fortunately, but
Watch, we start to get popular in 5 years, but then people were like, "But episode 47, you motherfuckers!"
no, I for oh son of a bitch. Now my
I think we're back though. We're back now.
yep. But no, my the fuck? Weird. Um what was I gonna say? No, the her credit wasn't that great either, so I was able to just be like, oh my my landlord was an asshole and he didn't approve you. Sorry. So
Okay, thanks for playing.
of course the downer is now I gotta cover a second room
Yeah,
this month, which
just
is
you, or are you guys going back and forth?
well, I mean I'm the only one who really can, really, and since I'm the one who manages all the bills here, it's kind of on me. And I mean,
Yeah, no,
also, yeah, also bitching about, who's gonna pay what, like, doesn't solve the problem. I mean,
right.
I got like a couple days. Just gotta do it.
Whenever I had, I mean, I mostly had one roommate for the better part of most of my time after college. But with him, we ended up having multiple different roommates over the course of the years. Um, and I just throughout that entire time, I ended up just being the default guy that paid freaking paid everything, managed all the bills. Like, very rarely were there other things that like other people managed, and it wasn't like I wanted to do that. it just kind of happened. And I don't think it was any of the situation where people were like, you do it. It was like, I just was like, well, this is getting done, needs to get done. No one's saying anything. I can do it. It's not a big deal. And like, it actually, in all honesty, it kind of made me ready to like be a dad. Because like, I was like, oh, well, I had my adult kids that I had to take care of and tell them what to do and tell them and manage them. And now it's like, oh, well, now I'm doing that now. They're just starting younger. And, it ended up helping me like stay organized when I ended up getting to a spot where I needed to be way more organized than I was, So I was like, oh, yeah, it paid off. But there were a couple of years where I was like, oh, son of a bitch, why is nobody else doing this?
Yeah. Some of those adulthood lessons that they don't teach you in school.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Actually, going back to high school, actually, probably the best, the best class that I took in high school was home ec single living.
Really?
Yeah.
You took a home ec class?
Well,
that's awesome.
To.
No, I never had that option in my high school. Like our curriculum was kind of set, but we didn't have a home ec. That's dope though. I totally would have taken that.
Actually, we had to take 2 home economics classes.
See, that's the kind of stuff that like that crap should be like totally mandatory. Like something like home ec should be mandatory, and financial literacy classes, right? I can't tell you how many times it's like people don't realize how much they're screwing themselves over by like doing certain things. And like, here's the thing, like I know I'm probably managing my money badly, but I know I am. It's like I have enough knowledge to know that I'm doing it wrong. No, but like, yeah, I mean like financial literacy, and I think everyone should just take like beginning coding, like senior year. Here's beginner's coding class. If you like it, good, because that's what you probably should get into, because jobs with computers, for everywhere. It's like, well, I'm not super good with computers. Well, you good with people, so you can just be good enough with computers and then be the Mr. Go-Between, because that's always going to be needed.
Oh yeah. No, I took because I had one class that was like kind of basic meals and cooking type of deal that I took with a buddy, so that was fun. But then my the single living class, that was like, here's how to do your laundry, here's how to fix your clothes, here's how to like kind of do like a little bit of meal prep and stuff like that too. And I remember because one of our assignments was we all took like a field trip to the grocery store, and we had to get enough stuff for like a full meal, but only spend $5, which is telling you how long ago this was.
Damn.
But no, so we the main thing that we got, the main thing that was so me and this other guy, Nick, who I actually don't even know what's happened to him. I should look him up later. But so we kind of like cruised around the aisles, and we're like, oh, you know what? We're gonna make gumbo, because it's just like a thing. It's soup. It's an easy meal. Well, no, gumbo isn't soup.
Well,
but
no, I know.
So here's what happens. So we see like a box, like, oh, gumbo. This is gumbo, like one of those
like hamburger helper kind of boxes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So we're just like, all right, we take that, and we got like something else too. I don't remember exactly. So we get back to class on. I don't remember if it was like the same day or the next day, but we start making everything, and we look at the box. It's like, oh, we were also supposed to get like, sausage and vegetables and some other stuff. So we literally it ended up being soup, because it was just like the mix and
there's
like
nothing else in it.
So some dried vegetables and like a little bit of rice. So I would just have like this shitty gumbo soup, but it counted. So
yeah.
And then
if it has it, it was under budget and it had caloric value. It was considered edible.
Yep. Actually, now that I think of it, it wasn't 2 classes. It was just one big class. Because
okay.
Yeah, so there was a lot of cooking and meal stuff involved. And I remember there was this other kid in our class who one of the things that he made, because we had like a dessert day or whatever, he he decided he was gonna make a smoothie, and apparently he didn't know that you had to put the lid on the fucking blender.
Oh God.
Just
God, like how
all over the place.
like how stupid is that? Like come on, man.
This was sophomore year.
Jeez. That reminds me of this time there was this kid on our football team. He was pretty good at football, but this kid was like
But that's
friggin'
it.
rock stupid.
Yeah.
No, he was just dumb as a friggin' post. Either that or he played off of it because it meant like he got attention, people interact with him. I don't even remember what we called him. I think it was Stewie.
Clunk. I don't know.
No, I think it was Stewie. I think we called him. It was because it was like which was funny because it was around the time of Family Guy and he was not intelligent.
Uh,
And like one of the things was like some of the other guys on the football team would be like, "Dude, eat this." And it was just like be like something fucking random, like
one of
just eat
those.
this thing. And, yeah, and he's like, "No," and he's like, "I'll give you like," he's like "I'll give you a dime." He's like, "No, I'll give you a quarter." But like the vending machines where he wanted to get the thing he actually wanted were like quarters and and so he'd be like, "All right, fine." Remember the dumbest thing was there was this dying, rotting saguaro cactus right outside the basketball court, and it wasn't like super rotted, but like one of the guys takes a piece off. He's like, "Hey, Stu, like, I'll pay you a quarter to eat this." He's like, "Dude, no." Like another guy is like, "Dude, no, don't do this. That's literally poisonous. That's not good for you. Do not eat that. Don't just he's trying to fuck with you. Don't do it." And he's like, "Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna do it. It's like only a quarter." And then the guy's like, "I'll give you $1." And he's like, "Done." And he grabs and he fucking eats like this little chunk. And he's like, "Oh man, this is really gross." And like half of us are like crying, laughing. The other half are like, "What are you doing?" Like I would have given you $1 to not do it. And then like 10 minutes later, he just starts throwing up off the side of the court, like into the gravel. And we're like, and one of the teacher on lunch duty comes up and he's like,
What happened?
he was kind of like, he kind of knew what was going on. He's like, what's going on? He's like, and I think one of us is like, yeah, somebody paid Stewie $1 to eat part of the cactus. Now he's throwing it up. He just looks, he's like, I gotta go deal with this shit. He just like walks over and like, "You're not dying, right?
You okay?
Do you need do you need me to call your parents, have them pick you up?" I think he ended up going home the rest of the day.
Oh, I'd imagine.
It was just like the dumbest thing. It was like the return to pain investment was like nowhere there. It was just like no.
Oh, you got
It
$1.
was terrible.
Unless he started throwing up before receiving the $1.
Oh man, I hope he got his $1. I don't remember that, but I hope he got it. Knowing him though.
I was gonna say this didn't happen to be the same kid who died after eating a snail, was it? You remember that story?
No, I don't remember that story actually.
Oh, well, yeah, I remember there was some kid that like ate a snail. I don't remember where it was, and I guess the snail had like a parasite or whatever, and it was like one of the ones that go up into your brain and then just
Brain ones. Oh,
yeah.
That sucks. I mean, especially
That was
too,
it.
'cause, like how old was this kid?
This was like a college guy.
Oh, okay, then he's an idiot.
Yeah.
But if it was like, I mean, if it was a kid under 9, where it's like that would be really sad, because kids being stupid kids is just going to be the case until they're like 13 or 12 or whatever, and then it's like they're still stupid.
Or later, much later, depending.
Or later. Yeah.
Well, I mean, also you wouldn't expect a snail to kill you either most of the time, or well, no, not a snail, a slug, because obviously you're not going to eat a shell or whatever. But yeah, no, that was a while ago. Also, probably the biggest takeaway for me from that home ec class is that's where I learned to make deviled eggs, which I haven't done in a while. But
deviled eggs are the shit. It's like my favorite way, like the best. I love deviled eggs.
yeah, as long as the cap on the paprika doesn't fall out. You're good.
I did over paprika them once, but even then it was still okay. I still liked them. My wife complained, but everybody else at the party liked them, so I didn't care. But yeah, no. See, now I'm on deviled eggs. Damn it.
Yeah,
Son of a bitch.
kind of got a little bit of a craving now too. Although I also haven't had. I really need to learn how to make eggs Benedict, or more specifically, Hollandaise sauce. So, shit. You still there? Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. Starting again. My thing didn't even show is dipping or whatever. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Well, you know, once is better than 3 or 4 or 5 times or whatever we had.
Oh man,
So-
last week was rough.
What was I saying? But yeah, what I really need to figure out is how to make eggs Benedict. At some point.
Yeah, I know there's like the Hollandaise sauce, but I don't know how to make that.
Yeah, that's the main thing. I have no idea what's in there. I'm sure it's like something semi-disgusting, but it's still good. Well, also
Because I think you have to poach it a certain way too.
Well,
Poaching, I used to be good at making poached eggs, but I don't know if I can do it. I have to try again sometime.
I mean, well, you really just need a like a egg poacher, pretty much.
Yeah, no, true,
Yeah.
true. But see, like my dad's really good at making breakfast food, and my mom's favorite things are poached eggs, and so my dad would just like straight up do it in the bowl, pot of hot water, like old fashioned way, and never got it wrong. Like he freaking we got him a poacher one time. He never used it. It was like one of those
It's like,
fancy
I don't
ones
need
too.
this
Like,
shit.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, basically he was like one of those old school guys with like old equipment, but like still worked fine. Except to him, it was just pot of hot water. Never needed anything else. I think he used it once or twice to humor us.
Like, see, I used it. I think we do have a. I know my mom has a like a poacher lid at home where you just like put the thing over and then it has the different egg sockets or whatever. But Okay. So yeah, hollandaise sauce. It's literally just butter, butter, egg yolks, lemon juice, Dijon, salt, and cayenne pepper, I guess.
That's not too bad.
And you just blend it all up.
Well, it also means you're doubling you're doubling how many eggs it takes to make that shit because you got the eggs for the sauce and then you got the eggs for the Benedict. Although what I've always wanted to try though is I wanted, instead of using Canadian bacon, either use real bacon or you do like some skirt steak nonsense, like you do a little like flank steak or skirt steak. You know how like sometimes that makes its way into breakfast food?
Oh yeah.
And do that instead. Like that. I think that could hit the spot. Shit, now I kind of want to make that.
I used to get every once in a while whenever I'd especially if I was working like a rave or something like that would get out at 2 a.m. I would hit up the NoHo diner over here on my way home, and I would just get eggs Benedict and their hash browns, which were actually just like the potato rounds or whatever.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, just pepper, squirt some ketchup all over that shit.
So when I lived in DC, there were two breakfast places that I just absolutely loved that I would always go to super late at night. The first was, and I cannot remember this place, but it's outside it was like if you're heading north through DC to get back to Silver Spring, Maryland and that area, it was like past Adams Morgan, you're going up the road. I mean, I was also super drunk at the time, so this is just flashes. And it's this place that doesn't open until 10, and their hours are from like 10 to 6 in the morning. And I think they're open during the day probably, but they had a specific overnight shift for like the weekend. Because people will go there after they're just going to get drunk and go eat food, which is like a huge thing in DC. I don't know if it is anywhere else, but like in DC, I remember like people loved going out till 2 and then eating until 6. It was just like something people did. I freaking never got it.
I feel like that's the entire East Coast.
Probably. I mean, I loved it.
Well, Northeast, I should say.
This place had some of the best burgers, steak, and eggs I've ever had in my life. And probably because I was always drunk when I went there, the first time I went there, I got this just huge T-bone steak and like 3 fried eggs and like potatoes. And it was just like amazing. And then the second time I got like this massive barbecue burger. It was just blew my socks off. The other one was the local diner that we lived in, because for some reason in Silver Spring, every other town in Maryland or DC or Virginia we ever saw, they'd have like 24-hour fast food or this or that. Silver Spring, nothing like that. Everything food-wise like closed down by midnight latest, except for this diner. It was the Silver Spring diner, looked like a classic diner, had been there probably forever. The food, not gonna lie, probably anywhere from B+ to a C+, depends on who was working that day. But when you were out late at night and you were hankering, oh, it was the best. And they couldn't really screw up breakfast food, so that was it. They had a decent pastrami too, so.
You know what actually, now I think of it, you know what actually be a really good idea is if somebody made like an Eggs Benedict burger.
Well, we're just gonna start a food truck right now.
There you go.
Used non-criminal RVs.
It's just an old police van.
Yeah. There's probably a pun we could do with that too.
Like, used to be Suicide Watch. Now we make burgers. But, well, I mean, it makes sense because you put people put eggs on burgers. Just throw hollandaise sauce and there you go.
Hangover burger, fried egg on that noise, so good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you could do that same thing. You don't even have to do the real egg Benedict part. You could just like put a fried egg and just put the hollandaise sauce on it. Why not?
Oh yeah.
That sounds pretty damn good, actually. Son of a bitch, I'm getting hungry. I'm supposed to not be eating now. I'm in the non-eating time frame. Now.
Yeah, I would imagine all this for you is before your body would have to start paying for all of that.
Everything I did.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I I I did not know how much I took my youth for granted. Like just incredible feats of just self-destruction that I put myself through, both from just never sleeping, eating like shit, um, totally misbalanced. Like there was like a good 6 month period where I could barely afford to pay rent, and I was not good at food shopping, and I probably could have done things way healthier and better. And I just ate the cheapest, crappiest shit that I could get from the local market that I could find. Like I think I had so much sodium that year, just from all the preserved food and everything. Man, like like for example, hot dogs were super cheap, and it was like this K-Bar brand. It was so gross. But hey, kept me alive, and
There
didn't
you
eat
go.
hot dogs for like 2 or 3 years after that.
I'm sure you bought ramen by the tray,
Oh my god! Like
probably.
I I came up with at least 6 different ways to make ramen and hot dogs work together, and with different flavor styles. It was a thing.
Doesn't go on a resume though.
Nope, nope. I saw this great TikTok video. This guy is like getting hired back in the day. Hello, I would like a job. You're hired.
Yep, I
You
saw
don't
that
need to
one.
know where I'm from. Nope. Getting a job now.
See you tomorrow.
Here's my resume. Yeah. Here's my references. Here's all this stuff. And here's when I went to school where I got a 4.0 in my master's and bachelor's. Job hiring company,
Yeah, fuck you.
basically.
Well, that's not technically that's not even true because it's not even a person looking at your stuff anymore.
Oh my god, that's a whole thing too.
Dude, I
Oh,
remember, I remember, I had like one of those chain emails for like a resume review service
yeah, I'm
pop
part of
up
that right now.
once.
Actually,
Yeah, which I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just see what this is about. So I took, yeah, it was one of my resumes, which was just in a doc form, so everything was like neat and laid out, and I put it in there, and the thing literally couldn't even read it at all.
yeah.
For some reason, I have no idea how or why or anything like that.
Yeah, I got something. I signed part of this thing I'm doing. I signed up for it. I got it, and the email back was like, "Oh, here's what you did right." It was like a couple little things, and then here's everything wrong with your resume. It was just like,
But
and
it's
like
not
it was
actually wrong.
well, some of it was. It was like, "Oh, you're not using the right phrasing," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And I took
Yeah.
that advice and I was able to rework it. So I was like, "Oh, okay, like that's helpful." I haven't, haven't had to write my resume in a long time. And then the second steps were like, "Oh, but working with software, this is what's happening." So I want to send it through with all the updates because I also apparently resume the that software doesn't like PDFs. I think that's part of it. That's what I discovered recently. So if you're hearing this,
I'm sure.
apparently it's better to use Word docs than PDFs for your resume systems. But whatever.
Well, I mean, even still, too, I'm sure it depends on whatever, whatchamacallit, thing that they're using. But then also, you think like most websites, they also have, well, that's one thing I like about, like, because I normally use Indeed whenever I'm trying to
Yeah,
job search, and then they just make you put everything in their own fields or
they
whatever
force you to work
anyway.
with them. Yeah,
Unless
yeah,
it's a
some
link for like another website, and then you got to deal with that. But it's all
yeah.
bullshit.
It's like I don't want I don't want job hunting to be the job that I have to do to get the job that I want, while also working the job that I have, and then the other job that is the other half of my life. It's just swear to God, there's not enough hours in the day.
Well, I mean, for me, that's also you know a big part of why I started doing this and want to do stand up and stuff because it's like I don't. Yeah, obviously that the whole process is really kind of bullshit now
Yeah.
because yeah, you're not going through actual people. It's supposed to be merit based, but I mean it's really not. It's just kind of luck of the draw. So I
It's
don't,
all about well, or it's about knowing somebody so they can send your resume in and you automatically get shoved to the top of the queue.
and maybe not even then,
Not even then. Yeah.
depending. But But yeah, at least with this, it's like I'm already doing the work now, and I get what I get. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
All
yeah.
over the screens.
Middle fingers and crossed fingers.
Take 2. Call us in the morning. We'll be drunk.
Let's see what else. I went to Gameology again the other day. Picked up a couple things, just cause this was after I had to let go of my potential new roommate that didn't work out for obvious reasons. Like, you know what, I need to buy some plastic. But
yeah. Nothing like that plastic crack, man. I actually put in a bunch of stuff for Space Marines because I decided that the hell, I'm not good at this game. Might as well play the click and win faction, the one that makes me feel less bad about losing.
But no, they finally got an actual sign up on the door.
Yeah, that's right. I saw that. I'm gonna actually probably stop by tomorrow.
It still looks like a sofa because they didn't they didn't wait for the
logo part.
Yeah. Well, no, and then the big one that they have like kind of in the middle of their store, that's still Sofa Express or whatever. But,
yeah, I think they're taking their time moving in because it's not like they can really have any like groups of people in there anyway. But yeah, no, I'm probably gonna swing by tomorrow and put my order in for the new White Dwarf, which apparently has the points updates in it too. So this is actually an important White Dwarf to get.
Yeah, that's what Battle Scrap's for.
Don't say that to judges.
Just wait another day or something like that. But no. Well, because I was talking to Chad, and I guess the like the permit committee for everything in Glendale just hasn't been doing anything in like
Pasadena,
the last year.
So
or Pasadena, I mean.
Which makes sense, yeah. They're
right,
terrible.
maybe everywhere too. But yeah, he was telling me like they literally haven't, for everything that they've submitted since they opened and started doing business, there hasn't been any they haven't heard back from anything.
Wow.
Nothing's been approved or denied. So yeah, that thing with like the front sign, that's why it still looks like a fucking couch or whatever, because it was like, we're just gonna take the plastic out and switch it with our logo.
Yeah. But apparently you need a permit for that.
Well, not for that specific part, 'cause it's just like a new painting or whatever. But yeah, if they wanted to take the whole thing out and pop a new one in with a different shape and all that stuff, yeah, they need a permit. Apparently, or not even really a permit, just like a approval of the project for them to actually do their own thing, which is also the problem that they're running into.
Yeah, because like any kind of serious modifications, you gotta like go through it and get all this stuff approved. It's like, I get it. It's for liability and inspection and safety purposes because you have the public entering your area, but it's also like, bruh, come on now.
Well,
anyway,
I'm kind of wondering how they managed to do it with the other store.
Or the one they were all across the street.
No,
that
the
store?
opposition.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain. I would be willing to bet money that they're doing things that they need permits for that they don't have permits for. I'm 100% betting that.
I guess. Well, if that would probably be more up to the landlord too, wouldn't it?
I mean, to
probably
doesn't
give a shit.
I mean, but that's also handled once you sign the contract, right? It's like, once you sign the contract, if the landlord doesn't like you doing something in your space, it's like, well, did you say I couldn't? Nope. We didn't sign anything on that. Nope. So here's your paycheck. Leave me alone.
Oh, be interesting to see what happens with them. Those people.
What do you mean, those people?
But no, it'll be nice because I know that's the thing that they're waiting on with their little because they are going to try and build a couple of podcast studios up in the second their balcony area that they have up there. It's a lot of space. They got room to work.
They've got a good. Yeah, no, I'm stoked to see what it looks like.
And that's definitely something that I would want to like kind of use at least, because I'm pretty sure there's obviously going to be, no beer rule that they have up there, but if we'll just
talk about beers and drink out of inconspicuous mugs that have totally water in them.
Well, I'm figuring if we like pick a day out of the month and just kind of rent it out for a few hours or something like that, and we just collect like a bunch of stuff that isn't like a time related or whatever to talk about, and then I could just like cut that up, and then we could also come on here and be like, hey, what are you drinking? I'm drinking this shit. Or if something like major pressing.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea too, because then you put all your production time in one basket, and you got here's your chunk of content for the month, and just cut it and edit it out of there.
Or if we ever get cool enough to have guests or something like that, who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
willing guests anyway.
Or not.
Or not.
Who knows? What do you think? Should we?
I'm thinking that's pretty good. I'm thinking that's a good one. Only one cut out.
Lit tired over there.
Lit tired, and also more ears need to sleep over here, so I need to be quieter. Perks of a small apartment.
There you go.
By perks, he meant not that.
Whatever the opposite. Cons.
Yeah.
In your case. Well, yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up. That has been another wonderful episode of the jankityasspodcast. Once again, if you haven't already, go down to the corner of the video here, Multi-Murdy Media, like and subscribe, leave a comment, leave a rating, review, all that shit. Preferably 5 stars. I'd be fine with 4 stars.
3 stars if you're funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so we got a few playlists here, of course. Jankity Ass Podcast, as you already know. Got TS Gamer. And Poncho's Paint Booth for all my hobby stuff. Also, in the show description, you'll see the website for Multi-Murdy Media. Go there. That gives you all the links to everything. Not only YouTube, but also most of the audio links for the podcast as well, because we're on every major platform and a few other ones in between.
Several known to monkeys.
Yes. And, well, we're all monkeys. But, and then...
Return to monkey.
Depends on who you're talking about. But, and then, of course, also Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram and Facebook. You will get all the updates for shows as they come out, whether or not they're boosted financially. So, we'll see what happens
Full
there.
circle.
And then, of course, Tom here you can find on
TFG Radio, where it's a 40K-centric podcast that I do color commentary on. The main hosts are the LVO judges. So if you know what any of those words mean and you sound interested in that, go ahead and check us out. We have some fun stuff. And we don't always talk about 40K. We kind of, we mix and match, jib and jive, but mostly 40K.
So you're kind of like a reverse panel. Over there, it's like 3 hosts and then the one panel. It's just you.
Basically.
There you go.
I'd say Adam's the true host, and then followed by the panelists Danny and John, followed by the disenchanted jester. Oh no, like me in the background. So
I can see that. Well, as always, thanks for coming along on our little journey here. And we will see you guys all next week.
Hey, classy San Diego.
Yes.